Hey guys, welcome to Media Frenzy, the podcast where we talk about various forms of media as we get to know each other. I'm Gracie.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Hallie.
And I'm Chloe.
And today we are going to be talking about TV show finales, the best, the worst, and also shows that ended too soon, which could be considered the worst. And I wanted to talk about those shows that ended too soon because I hate when I'm watching a show and it ends before I feel like they reach a satisfying conclusion, or when I feel like there's just so much more potential to it. And I know people feel the same way about their education. That's why our sponsor, Columbia State Community College, offers workforce and continuing education courses and adult learning opportunities. Whether you want to develop a new skill, improve your organization's performance, or finish your degree, Columbia State Community College is here for you. To learn more, go to columbiastate.edu. Thank you so much, Columbia State. Okay, let's get on to this recording. Are we all good?
We're good.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to start by asking you guys if you've seen any of these shows or their show in their entirety. These are the most viewed finales. So number one, we have MASH. Then we have Cheers at number two. Three is The Fugitive, which I don't think I've ever heard of. Not gonna lie. And then four is Seinfeld, and then five is Friends. Have any of us watched any of those?
I've
I don't
seen
think I've seen
Seinfeld.
any of the finales.
Okay. I
I've
haven't
not
either,
seen any of them.
so that's fine. I haven't either. But I did think what was funny was when I was looking up like lists for best and worst finales, Seinfeld was both in best and worst category. So it's apparently a pretty divisive finale.
Interesting.
I
But
can see that. I watched the Seinfeld finale. I think that's the only one out of any of those that you listed that I have seen personally. It
I think they go to
was
jail.
They did, yeah. They went to
Okay.
jail. They replayed all of like their like horrific, like funny moments, and then they were like convicted, and then they went to jail for all of it.
Okay.
It was like kind of weird. Like,
Okay.
oh, I don't know.
Wow.
Probably deserved it.
Probably.
Probably, yeah. But
So weird. Interesting. Okay. Well, I did ask you guys, like a little bit ahead of time of finale to give you guys some ideas. So I think, Chloe, you said you had two in mind.
hmm I had one that is notoriously very, very bad, and one that I didn't used to like, but I do like now. The bad one is Supernatural. I didn't
Okay.
watch Supernatural, but I know what happens in the finale. And
Okay.
it's like the main character, he like gets stabbed by a rusty nail and dies. And then
Really?
and then his brother, he grows old and has a really bad Party City wig. And then they're reunited in heaven with all the other main characters, except for the one guy who got sent to super hell.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't
I
sound good.
can.
Yeah. And the good one is Steven Universe. I really like that one.
Yes.
I used to
That is
not like the
cute.
Steven Universe future finale because I was like, what the heck? He turned into a big monster and they didn't even fight him. But then I like rewatched Steven Universe recently. I was like, oh my God, he just liked me for real.
I've only watched the original series. I need to watch the movie and the future version, but my boyfriend wants to watch it with me.
Well, they're both good. So
Okay. Caitlin, did you say you had some as well?
I have one in mind, but I don't think anybody's heard of. You guys probably haven't heard of it. It's called it's a TV show called Chuck. It has
Oh, yeah,
um
I've heard of it.
you have yeah, it's so good. It has Zachary Levi in it, who is Eugene Fitzherbert in Tangled.
Oh,
um
is he?
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he's the voice of him.
Yeah.
And he's the main character. He plays Chuck. It's from like 12, 15 years ago. There was 5 seasons, 4 or 5 seasons. I think five. Yeah. But it was so good. But like the ending was just like so kind of heart-wrenching, and like they like left it almost at like a cliffhanger, and it's like but then they stopped. Like they didn't make any more seasons or anything. I think they talked about doing a movie, but I don't think they're going to. So it's just sort of like, oh, like it just sort of leaves you like kind of wondering what really happened. But
I know of Chuck. I wanted to watch it, but I always keep forgetting just because it's like a cult classic kind of show. Like
it
it's
is,
not
yeah.
necessarily talked about as much now. It was popular when it was on, I remember that, but because I remember seeing promos and stuff for it when I was younger, but I
Yeah.
have wanted to watch because isn't he like a CIA agent?
Yeah, well, the thing is like premise. I don't know what the word is, but like the plot is his friend who is like in the government, like works with is like a CIA agent or something, sends him these like government secrets through this like mind thing, and he
Okay.
gets all of them like kind of transmitted into his brain, and he like has all these government secrets in his head, and like he kind of becomes like an asset to the CIA and NSA and stuff like that. And but it's so good, like it has like all of the elements of like really funny and like just like really it's just really good. And then there's like romance and like it's fun. It's probably like top 3 5 favorite shows.
Okay. Hallie, did you think of any?
Yeah, I had a couple like animated ones, like examples
Okay.
of shows that like ended too soon. The original Teen Titans show that ended on a massive like it was gonna be like a two-parter episode and it got canceled before the second part of the episode. So it like it's
Wow.
a really dramatic cliffhanger where like one of the Teen Titans Beast Boy has to like go help his friends, but then there's like this girl from his past that may or may not remember him and is just like pretending, and you don't know if she actually remembers or not. And then he runs out of the school to go like help fight crime with his friends, and that's the end of the show. You know,
And
because
they
you never
just
know,
never.
and you
Wow.
never found out. And then the other one was like more recent on the Disney Channel animated show called The Owl House got
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that was like a really big deal. At the time, there's like some Disney drama. The CEO that was put in place was like the worst, and then that CEO got kicked out by the previous CEO that appointed him, and he's now the CEO again. Um, but he was like canceling a bunch of like serialized shows. Like he wanted more like for cartoons, like the just like the funny, not really put together shows. So it
Yeah.
got canceled right before like the next season was going to come out, and the creator Dana Terrace was able to like negotiate to get like to finish the story. So she got to do like 3 45-minute episodes for like the final season that just like wrapped up everything. And they did a really good job actually, like for what they had. They did a good job finishing it. But it was like, you know, it could have been even better if they had just been able to like see it through the way they wanted to.
I feel that with like a lot of shows, because like like the original series of Steven Universe, a lot of I feel like animated shows especially just kind of get told like, hey, by the way, we're not renewing you as they're making the season, so they're having to like wrap it up really quick.
Mhm.
And like as a creative mind, I guess you're just having to be like, well, I was like trying to plan for all of this, but oh well, I guess I just have to like throw it all in these last 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And that happened too with the Infinity Train, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just so many examples of animated shows like that. I can't think of any on the top of my head right now, but it's a
There's
very
quite a
common like theme.
Oh
happens a
yeah.
lot these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in a lot of the lists of like shows that ended too soon. Yeah, I mean Infinity Train was definitely in like a top area of just like we wish we it didn't end so soon. But for series finales that I hate, absolutely. Has anyone seen How I Met Your Mother?
Hmm.
I watched it.
I've heard of it,
Okay.
but I've never seen
Yeah,
it.
I've heard about the finale, but I
Okay.
don't know what goes on.
That's fine. I'll just go on a solo rant. So to paint the picture, so like the whole premise is talking about How I Met Your Mother, and like the finale and everything should be just a wrap up of like, And that, kids, is How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, love you, ding, title, done. Um, it the story ends, begins and ends as just a way of like getting together with the main character's love interest throughout the whole show. So the mother's like really irrelevant. And so after you go through like 9 seasons of like, wow, I really want to meet the mother, and then in the last season you meet the mother and you're like, oh wow, she's so great. Sorry, spoilers. She dies of cancer. They don't like yeah, she dies of cancer and they really sweep her under the rug real quick and then they're just like, "Wow, Dad, it seems like you're in love with Aunt Robin. You should go be with her." And he's just like, "I should." And then he goes and he just gets the character that he's wanted all along. And you're just like, "Why did I waste my whole time watching 9 seasons, waiting through 9 seasons?" to watch this. Now I have to look up if it's actually 9 seasons or not. It felt like 9 seasons. Watch it be only like
Oh
4.
So the entire time he was in love with this one girl and
Yes.
went with some other woman, and then the final thing is like, oh, I'm gonna be with the person that I wanted to be with the entire time.
Yeah, so the first episode is, "Hey kids, this is How I Met Your Mother and this is the story." And like it ends in a really cute meet cute and then it goes, "And that, kids, is how I met your Aunt Robin," who is like his friend, like a not literal aunt, just like how you say
Mhm.
your friends or like a
Yeah.
kid's aunt.
Yeah.
Um And so then the whole series is like, well, this is my misadventures in romance, and like, oh, this one could be your mother. Joke's on you, it's not your mother. And then in the final season, it's talking about like, oh, this is the wedding of like two of the characters, and this is where I finally met your mother. And then pretty much in the last like 2 or 3 episodes, um it's like, okay, well, we finally got together. We got, I mean, like, she got pregnant, we got married, and that's how we have you two. And it was heartbreaking to have to lose her to cancer. And like, and we're just like shooketh because we've met this character, we've fallen in love, and it's like, no, joke's on you. She has cancer and she's dead the whole time in this like timeline. And then it's just like, oh, the one that like throughout the series he's been chasing, who is the Aunt Robin, it's just like, oh yeah, it turns out they end up together. And it just feels like such a spit and a slap in the face at the same time. Also, it is 9 seasons. I just looked it up.
That's too many seasons for that.
Yes, they
Nice.
pull at your heartstrings and not even like it's crazy, but that is my major just like ruined the whole series for me.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's fair. Like,
that
oh
makes
my God.
sense.
But yeah, and I also so to look up like worst seasons since we're just kind of I brought up that I also looked it up and I was like, "Oh, we did talk about Sherlock because Sherlock
Oh my God. I
ends
can't. I
so
can't talk about it.
unsatisfying."
Not good.
It's so Sherlock was up there. It's okay if we don't want to talk about it. It is a lot
No,
to
too
unpack.
emotional.
It's gonna get
We did
heated.
kind of
It's
briefly
so
talk about it,
bad.
but with other things, there was like one of the most recent like worldwide, I guess, disappointments is Game of Thrones. Did anyone
Mhm.
watch that?
I haven't seen it,
I
but
didn't watch
Okay.
it, but I heard
I didn't
about
I
it.
watch it,
saw
but I
the
know.
outrage happen online.
Yeah.
Yes. And I do remember everyone being upset that they like people who named their kids somewhat similar to like Khaleesi or Daenerys or something, and they were like, this whole time I just named my kid after Fantasy Hitler. Because there were like, because during Game of Thrones, there were a lot of kids who got named Khaleesi or Daenerys or something similar, or like Dany, something very similar.
Yeah.
And like, they didn't let the whole thing pan out first. But like, am equally similar. I did not fully watch Roseanne, but you know, like, I mean, like rom or sitcoms like that, you just kind of know, like, you see a couple episodes every now and then. Apparently, I Roseanne ends in the weirdest way, where like it's like one of the season finales. is that her husband dies of a heart attack, and then in the last season, um, they win the lottery, and like it just goes crazy. And the series finale is, "Oh, that was all a joke. She was just writing." They pulled a like, "Oh, just
And it
kidding."
was all what she was
It
just
was all a
pretending.
dream.
Oh
Because it like
no,
shows her at like a typewriter being like, "Oh, and that's how that would have happened."
I hate that.
Yes.
That sounds like how After is gonna end because the
Oh,
guy,
is
he's a
it?
writer, and he wrote a book in the story called After, which is the story of him and Tessa, the girl. So not to bring it
So
to After, but like
no, we have to. We
You're
have to bring it to
telling me
after.
that After is really the story of Harry Styles writing fan fiction about himself?
well, it's not fan fiction about himself. It's like what he and his girlfriend like actually, well, his fake girlfriend in the story like went through. But
Wait,
um it's hard to explain.
so hold on. So, okay, Harry Styles, the character.
The
Hmm.
Hardin Scott, that's his
Yeah,
name.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
that's why.
obviously Harry
it's Harry
Styles.
Styles.
He, so in the After universe, he
Hmm.
is writing what, like just their adventures? A book of their
Um,
adventures?
throughout the entire story, he like keeps a journal about
Okay.
like, and he writes about him and his girlfriend Tessa and like
Uh-huh.
their tumultuous relationship. And then
Okay.
whenever they break up for like some period of time, he like publishes it into a manuscript and sends it to like a publishing house.
That
And
sounds like revenge things.
it probably is. Like, and he like publishes it, and then like Tessa finds out, and she's like, "What? Like, why are you doing this? Like, I didn't consent to you publishing this." And he's like, "Tessa, it doesn't matter." And I don't know. And then the last scene of the like most recent movie is like her going to like like a book reading that he's doing, and she just walks out of the bookstore.
That's so weird. Like
So,
I knew this was a weird story, but like that is
It's
so much more
wild.
psychotic than I thought it was.
That's why we gotta
right?
watch them.
And then also, okay, thinking of psychotic as well, something else we've talked about, 13 Reasons. Okay, has anyone heard of the finale? Because I looked this up,
Oh,
and
I've seen the
apparently,
entire thing.
you've seen the entire thing? Okay,
Yeah.
so I looked it up and saw that apparently the finale is like they forgive the the person who sexually assaults people, like everything is just like gone back on. And like
Mm-hmm.
the main character who, in fairness, it said something like the main character, he has the psychotic break, which he was seeing a dead girl anyway, so like that it seems like that was in the works. But like every it said that they just like everything just comes undone, and it kind of Riverdales itself. Like
Yeah, kind of, because like it ends with there are multiple characters that like sexually assault people in the show, and they end up like forgiving them in the last episode because like, well, they both die, and this other guy dies from like AIDS, and they have like a funeral, and they honor them at their high school graduation, and
why?
couldn't tell you. I don't know, man. Um,
They honor the girl that
I don't remember.
the
I think
main girl.
so because like five people in their graduating class like died.
This
So
is just like Heather's but worse somehow.
it
Right.
is honestly like, hmm, except they don't sing.